You ever see a gun and think, where the hell was this when I needed it? That's what this list is all about. No overhyped trends, no YouTube fluff, just the pistols that actually deliver but never made the front page. Some shoot smoother than the guns you already own, others carry lighter, last longer, or hit harder. But the crazy part? You've probably never held one. And one of these, it's already disappearing from dealers fast. You'll know which one. Let's get into this. These are the handguns you'll wish you saw sooner. You're about to see the handguns most folks never even talk about. But once you do, you'll wonder how the hell you missed them. This one's been stirring up more arguments than you'd expect for a subcompact. Some folks swear the Canik TP9 Elite SC is a budget gem that outshoots half the premium carry pistols out there. Others dismiss it as too big, too heavy, or just another cheap import that won't hold up long term. I'll tell you what I've seen. For under $400, you get a match-grade barrel, optics-ready slide, interchangeable backstraps, ambi controls, and Canik even throws in a holster. That's not hype, that's value. And when you strap it on, the comfort isn't a trick. It's balanced well enough that it doesn't dig or drag even through a long day. The grip fills your hand without punishing you, and the recoil impulse feels smoother than a gun this size should. Now, does it have drawbacks? Sure. The aftermarket isn't as deep as Glock or SIG, and some shooters think the trigger's a little too light for carry, but reliability tests have shown it'll chew through ammo without complaint. So here's the debate. Do you pay twice as much for a name brand or carry the Canik that just quietly does the job? Most mornings when I walk out the door, this is the pistol on my belt. The Shield Plus isn't just another option in the safe, it's the one I actually carry. Slim, balanced, and light enough that I forget it's even there until I need it. I've worn it through long days on the road and late nights running errands. It doesn't shift, it doesn't rub raw spots, and it doesn't make me fight it. And that's the real secret. Comfort isn't about a fancy design, it's about a gun you don't mind wearing 10 hours straight. Now, I've heard plenty of shooters trash it. It's old news, it's just an updated single stack. One time at a range, a guy started mouthing off about how it couldn't hang with the P365 or even Hellcat. Another shooter cut him short. Maybe not, but when's the last time you saw a Shield jam? That shut the whole debate down. The Shield Plus doesn't have chase hype, and it doesn't need to. For me, it's the pistol I actually reach for every single day, and that makes it one of my favorites on this list. I had almost quit carrying the Glock 19, not because it failed me, but because I thought it didn't fit the comfortable concealed box anymore. Everyone was hyping slimmer guns, smaller guns, guns that promised to disappear better, and I bought into it. So I tried the micros. I carried them, sweated with them, ran through long drives with them, and sure, they hit easier, but when it came time to actually shoot, I found myself missing the 19. The grip, the balance, the way it always returned on target the same way, that comfort mattered more than the extra millimeter of concealability. A buddy of mine in law enforcement once joked, the Glock 19 isn't a concealed gun, it's the gun you conceal anyway. That stuck with me because the real comfort isn't just how it wears, it's how it performs when you actually need it. So yeah, it's bulkier than today's micro compacts, but it's also the pistol I trust to do the same thing every single time. And that's a kind of comfort no spec sheet can really measure. Most carry pistols feel like a compromise. You either get something tiny and miserable to shoot, or something shootable that's a nightmare to carry. The Hellcat Pro is one of the rare ones that breaks that rule. I figured that out the hard way. I ran the original Hellcat when it came out, and I hated it. Too small, too snappy, felt like it was trying to beat me up every range trip. So when the Pro landed, I just rolled my eyes, figured it was just marketing. But then a buddy of mine tossed his to me at the range. First mag in, I noticed it shot flatter. By the third mag, I noticed something else. It actually felt comfortable to run, not just tolerable, and carrying it sealed the deal. That longer grip and slide doesn't just give you control, they balance the weight so it rides steady in a holster. Driving, walking, bending, it just stayed put without hot spots or shifting. It's not perfect, it's still blocky, and plenty of folks don't trust Springfield, but here's the truth. If you want capacity, shootability, and all-day comfort in one package, the Hellcat Pro does it better than most. Here's a pistol that almost nobody puts on their top list, and that's the debate right there. Some say the Masada Slim is just IWI trying to copycat the P365. Others argue it's one of the most underrated carry pistols on the market. After spending time with it, I lean toward the second camp. It doesn't feel like a cheap knockoff. The frame is thin without being flimsy, the grip texture is aggressive enough to lock you in without chewing you up, and the recoil impulse is smoother than half the bigger names. For concealed carry comfort, that matters because a pistol that's unpleasant to shoot eventually becomes unpleasant to carry. I've watched shooters at the range dismiss it before they even load a mag. Then 5 minutes later, they're asking, "What was this again?" That's the Masada Slim effect. It doesn't look flashy, but it wins people over when they actually put rounds through it. Sure, the holster market hasn't caught up like it has for Glock or SIG, but if you want a pistol that carries light, shoots flat, and doesn't get the credit it deserves, the Masada Slim makes its case loud and clear. P365 doesn't need any introduction. When it dropped in 2018, it rewrote the whole rulebook for concealed carry. But here's where the debate kicks in. Half of you are already yelling that the Classic doesn't belong on this list. Why not the XL? Why not the X Macro? Why carry the old one when the upgrades are right there? And on paper, you're not wrong. Smaller mags, snappy recoil, no fancy optics cuts, the Classic looks outdated. But the biggest twist is that this Classic is still the one I see people actually carrying. It became the go-to for entry-level carriers, and years later, they haven't let it go. Not showing off at the range, not flexing in forums, just carrying. Because comfort isn't about specs, it's about holster fit, weight, and trust. And the Classic slides into more setups, more daily lives, and more waistbands than any of its improved cousins. Glock guys call it SIG hype, XL owners swear they'd never go back. But look around, comps, truckers, even first-time carriers are still strapping on the Classic every morning. And if you think this pick stirs debate, wait until you see what's sitting at number 11. You didn't think I'd end this list without throwing a curveball, did you? The Celtic P15 is one of the strangest debates in concealed carry right now. On paper, it looks unbeatable. The lightest 15 plus 1 capacity 9mm out there, 15 rounds in a pistol that barely tips 14 ounces. That just screams comfort carry. But here's the catch. It's a Caltech. Some shooters trust them, but others would never touch one even with a 10-foot pole. Reliability has always been the knock, and the P15 hasn't escaped that reputation. I've heard people call it a budget miracle, and others call it a gem waiting to happen. So why list it at all? Because comfort also means accessibility. Not everyone has Glock or SIG money, and if you can actually get your hands on one of these and it runs well, the comfort to capacity ratio is insane. Light enough to wear all day, slim enough to hide under nothing more than a t-shirt, and holding the same rounds as pistols twice the weight. It's not for everyone, and it's not perfect, but the Celtic P15 proves that sometimes comfort comes from the least expected places. Some shooters dismiss this pistol before even touching it. It's just a downsized Walther. Others sneer and call it a lady's gun. But the moment you wrap your hand around the PDPF, the debate changes altogether. Because this pistol doesn't just fit smaller hands, it fits better, period. Walther didn't just shrink the frame, they reworked the ergonomics, the trigger reach, and the contour of the grip. That means it melts into your palm in a way most compact carry guns don't. Comfort isn't just about how a pistol rides in a holster, it's also about how it feels when you're actually shooting it, and the PDPF nails that balance. I've seen hardened Glock guys laugh at it until they put a mag through one. Then suddenly, it's not bad and surprisingly controllable. That's respect creeping in, even if they don't want to admit it. Yes, it's not as slim as a Shield Plus, and it won't disappear like a Ruger Max 9, but if you want a pistol that's comfortable both to carry and to run hard on the range, the PDPF is tougher to argue against than people think. Have you ever noticed that the guns that get hyped online are the same ones that most people never actually carry? Shiny, expensive, loaded with extras that nobody needs. Meanwhile, the Ruger Max 9 just keeps showing up where it counts. It's not pretty and it's not polished, but it is comfortable. 10 ounces of no excuses carry, slip it in a waistband, toss it in a truck, sweat on it, scratch it, it doesn't care. This is a gun that doesn't ask for respect, it earns it. I've seen this pistol ride in cheap holsters, in glove boxes, even in a tackle box with rust on the lid, and the damn thing still ran. That's comfort you can't measure in ounces or trigger pull weight. That's comfort in knowing you're armed and you didn't have to sell your truck to get there. The Max 9 isn't refined, the trigger is average, it doesn't feel like a SIG, and it won't impress the Glock crowd, but here's the truth. Comfort isn't about flexing, it's about carrying a gun you'll actually live with every day. And this Ruger nails just that. So let's hear it. Are you Team Ruger, or do you think this pistol doesn't belong anywhere near this list? The Taurus G2C isn't a gun you brag about. It's not winning design awards, it's not topping YouTube flex videos, but here's what matters. People are carrying it. In fact, you'll probably see more of these on working class belts than half the so-called premium pistols out there. Why? Simple. Size, weight, and price. The G2C checks the boxes for everyday carry without punishing the guy who just wants something reliable enough to keep on him. It's not a range toy, it's not a collector's piece, it's a tool. Yep, the trigger is spongy, the finish is rough. If you're used to high-end guns, it feels cheap, but ask anyone who's actually lived with one. It disappears in a waistband, doesn't drag your pants down, and eats through cheap ammo better than it should. Comfort isn't about impressing people at the gun counter. It's about grabbing the pistol you actually carry day after day. And that's why the G2C, whether you like it or not, earns its spot. And if you think putting a Taurus this high is bold, just wait until you see what made number 10. The P365X Macro split the crowd the second it dropped. Some called it genius, a micro-compact stretched just enough to carry like a duty gun without feeling like one. Others said it ruined the whole idea of the P365. Too big, too heavy, defeats the purpose. And that's the fight still raging on in 2025. Here's why it earns the top spot. It does what no other pistol has managed. 17 rounds in a gun this slim with recoil that feels tamed compared to smaller P365s. You can wear it appendix, strong side, even under a light jacket, and it doesn't feel like a full-sized anchor. That's the comfort angle people underestimate. More capacity usually means more bulk, but the X Macro bends that rule. I've heard longtime Glock 19 carriers say they switched and never looked back. I've also heard purists swear the original P365 is still the better everyday gun. But when you balance firepower, concealability, and all-day comfort, nothing else hits the sweet spot right now. Love it or hate it, the X Macro is the pistol rewriting what comfortable carrying means in 2025, and that's why it sits at number 1. Nobody expected me to start with a 380. Hell, half of you are already typing in the comments, "Steve, that's not even a real caliber." And I get it, the LTP Max ain't winning any power contests. But here's the thing. You know what gun actually stays on you even when you don't feel like carrying? This one. No, it doesn't hit like a 9mm, but this little 380 can still save your life. Whether you're a beginner or even a pro-level shooter, it's also one of the most budget-friendly carry pistols out there today. I've been carrying it since 2021 when it first dropped, and it's never let me down since then. The Ruger LCP Max is stupid light, just 10 ounces unloaded. It disappears in a pocket, vanishes in a waistband, and unlike half the so-called comfort guns, you don't feel like you're hauling a brick after an 8-hour-long shift. It gives you 10 plus 1 rounds, 12 in the extended mag, in a frame so small most people mistake it for a toy until it barks. Yeah, it's snappy, the trigger's nothing special, and 380 ammo isn't cheap, but here's the truth. Comfort matters more than internet arguments. A 9mm left in the safe won't save you. A 380 you actually carry every damn day? That one just might. Every time the P10C comes up, somebody says it's just a Glock clone. But here's why it earns a spot on a comfort list. It feels better to carry than most people expect. I first noticed it on a long day running errands. Normally, a mid-sized pistol starts to feel like a brick by lunchtime, but the CZ didn't. The balance of the frame, the way the grip contours against your body, even the angle of the slide, it rides close without jabbing or dragging your waistband down. That's the difference. Now, Glock loyalists will always bring up track record, and fair enough, the Glock 19 has decades of trust behind it, but ask anyone who's carried both side by side, and they'll say that the CZ feels like it was designed with comfort in mind first. The grip texture locks into your palm without tearing skin, the trigger sits at the right reach, and the weight is spread in a way that makes 10 hours of wear tolerable. So yes, the P10C will always live in Glock's shadow, but when it comes to pure carry comfort, more and more shooters are finding this one easier to live with day after day. Every time this pistol comes up, somebody says the same thing. Mossberg should stick to shotguns, and I'll admit, I thought the same. A company built on pump actions suddenly jumping into concealed carry? It felt like a stunt. But here's where the fight starts. Reliability. The critics will tell you Mossberg hasn't earned their stripes in pistols. Too new, unproven, don't trust it. On the other side are the folks who've actually put rounds through it, swearing it runs as clean as anything Glock or SIG makes. I've seen it myself. A guy at the range cracked jokes when his buddy unboxed one. By the end of the session, after watching 200 rounds run without a single hiccup, he wasn't laughing anymore, he was curious, and that's the real story here. The MC2SC isn't about brand loyalty, it's about results. Comfortable to carry, easy to shoot, and so far, reliable enough to change minds fast. So yeah, Mossberg's name on a pistol will always raise eyebrows, but if comfort and trust matter more than logos, the MC2SC has certainly earned its spot. And speaking of debate, the next pistol has probably started more arguments than any other on this list. That's the funny thing about guns that actually work. They don't come with fanboys or flashy hype, they just deliver, quietly and consistently. And by the time people catch on, they're sold out, price jacked, or gone for good. So if one of these made you go, damn, I should have bought that last year, then you know what to do now. Don't let the next one slip by. This has been Steve. Thanks a lot for riding with me. Catch you in the next one.